What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Look, I was over here preparing for another amazing episode, but look, I need you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell so that you guys don't miss any of our amazing conversations. Have a new episode coming to you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk, and I'm back with another amazing episode, another amazing guest, and an amazing conversation that is sure to inspire you. Today's guest is a guy that I met, I would say, you were 24?
25.
No.
I was 20.
You were young.
I was 24.
When I met you, because it was prior to
I was 25.
January.
I wasn't 25. Yeah, I wasn't 25 yet. Yeah.
So, I met this young guy, and when I tell you, he felt like home because come to find out he's from the Midwest, right next door to Ohio.
Detroit.
And his conversation was mature. And then to see the things that this man has done over the years, it was time to have this conversation. So I would like for you guys to welcome me, along with me, Mr. Johnathan Carey, a.k.a. Spidey.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Welcome to BLK Talk.
It feels good to be here. It's real good. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you because I haven't seen this man in forever. You want to know why? Because this man has been busy doing a lot of amazing things that we're going to talk about today.
I'm trying to be like you when I grow up.
You know what? The crazy thing is we are 10 years apart, and I'm looking like, damn, I want to be like you now. It's okay to always aspire to want to be not necessarily like somebody else, but have somebody else inspire you to want to do something different.
Right.
And you do many things, many great things. You are a pillar in the community now, and you've only been in Atlanta freaking 3 years.
Yep. This Monday coming up makes 3 years.
Wow.
June 3rd makes 3 years. Yep. June 3rd.
You had been here how long when I met you?
When you met me, I think I was only here for a few months. I wasn't here that long.
Wow.
I was not here. I wasn't even a year when you first met me.
Weren't you pimping wine somewhere?
I was I was working for Empire Distributors. And I was working through Publix, Kroger's, wherever the case may be, working their inventory, small mom and pop shops and things like that. So yeah, I had my corporate job around that time. I wasn't even a trainer yet. I didn't even get to the fitness business yet when you met me. Mm-mm.
But you was still,
big
course, and spoiled.
Of course. I stayed in the gym prior to me leaving from Michigan. I was training at Powerhouse Gym right in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I've always stayed fit and everything else, so that was really never a problem for me. In addition, I used to train a little bit, very small, but work out mainly at Fraternity Gym, in Marietta. So I was at Fraternity with DJ and everybody else, and it was cool. It was only 10 minutes away from me, so I stayed fit, man. Fitness is my life.
Now, we're going to get into the fitness at some point in the conversation, but I want you to tell people who you are because there's so much to you.
Yeah.
I want you to tell the people who you
are. Well, what's up, people? How y'all doing today? Well, first, Johnathan Carey, a.k.a. Spidey. I've had Spidey since I was 14 years old, freshman coming to college. Coming to high school. A lot of people always ask, how you get Spidey? Spidey came from one of my great coaches, Coach Banks. And I used to play wide receiver. And, they just felt like screaming Johnathan from the sideline wasn't as intimidating. So I was like, you know what, let's get something else. I was only a freshman on varsity with a few other guys. And he was like, you know what, go out for this pass. Went out for this pass, went out, caught it. He was like, we're going to call you Spider. And then, being around our great people, our community, they remixed it.
Of course.
And they said Spidey. So that's how Spidey came about. But I've had that name since about 14. So I really kept it, made it my own. And it's a way a lot of people identify me now in the fitness realm. But now that I've been on this journey of recapturing myself and re-identifying myself, I do go by Johnathan. So when I'm speaking in rooms, when I'm in spaces of, professional presence or anything of that nature, or I'm just, walking around, I'd love for people to introduce me or for me to introduce myself as Johnathan. We in a raid room, Spidey, but anything outside.
So if we sweating, it's Spidey.
It's Spidey all day. It's Spidey all day.
If we're in the boardroom, it's Johnathan.
That's a whole different person, but we outside, we doing anything else, it's Johnathan.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you came to Atlanta a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and since you've been here, like the things that I have seen you doing, like I used to see you a lot, but then life be lifing, and everybody ends up on a journey that may take them away from people, but real people they come back, so that's what matters. But the thing that you have been doing,
Yeah.
it's been like amazing. So I didn't know that you were not a part of this organization before, but since you've been here, you have become.
I've become a man of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and also a member of the Emerging 100 Atlanta chapter, class of 2023. So I actually did them back to back. I joined both organizations last October, and which was I wouldn't recommend it 10 out of 10. I mean, 0 out of 10 would not recommend it at all.
Like to do them back to back?
To do them back to back, I would not do it.
Okay.
To do them back to back, I would not do them at all. But, I had that, it was just time. It was that time, and I saw my window. And it was an opportunity that I could not let go or pass up. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, but it's something that I do not regret. I mean, I've had 4 great line brothers, which I love and I hold dearly, and I have 30 great immersion brothers that were in my class that I hold dearly as well. We all network and work together. So I gained 2 brotherhoods, and man, it's been such an experience. It's been a great experience.
So for you, both of these organizations are legendary in their own right.
Right.
And each of them holds a different value and a different significance for the people, for the community, for the culture. Now for you, being a part of Alpha Phi Alpha, what does that mean to you? And for you, what does being a part of the Emerging 100, what does that mean to you?
I would say being a part of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is being part of a legendary, old, enriched legacy that has been passed through generations of just monumental leaders. I mean, you have to think of Brother Cornel West, you have to think of Brother W.B. Du Bois, Brother Dr. Martin, right? And these are people who I am now connected through, through fraternal bond. Right. So, being an alpha man, I mean, it's a brotherhood in deeper sense than most can really comprehend or really understand. Right. And being able to walk amongst these brothers, to uplift one another and to be leaders within our community, right? And uplifting our community, and love for all mankind. It's something that we just don't take lightly. You know what I'm saying? Right now I'm still in my neo year, right? Like I said, I just crossed fall 23, and with that I've already taken up a lot of leadership opportunities. Right now I co-chair the Health and Wellness Committee, and with that, me and my line brothers, we do so much within the actual community of Atlanta, from food drives, clothes drives, social media presence, things of that nature. I mean, we really are out here really working, really doing it right. So it's nothing that I'm not accustomed to, but it's something in which is promoting new growth and new ideas that now I have 300 individuals helping, and I'm partnering with their own initiatives and how we can really push not only the presence of Alpha Phi Alpha, but just the upliftment of all mankind in the spaces that we choose or are demanded or are requested to be at. So that's more so on the alpha side. When it comes to immersion, I mean, that's a whole different beast, right? Immersion is still growing, right? And for me, I feel like to be selected in that space, you really have to be the best of the best, right? You have to be kicking butt in your industry, because you have so many people who go out, they fill out applications, whatever the case may be, to be a part of this prestigious organization. Only few, were really chosen. And the thing about it is, right now my class, like I said, it's 31 of us, flight 31. And the thing about it, we all do something different, but we all are great in the entries that we are, right? You have a guy who's over here, he allocates and does different curations under liquor brands, right? You have a guy over here that's punching numbers and going crazy over here. You have multiple guys who have nonprofits that are name brands in actual Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? To where we're working with the mayor. We're getting requested to work with the mayor, or, you know, we're being requested to come do this at this school, you know. Recently worked with a brother, he's not in my class specifically, but it was at Mays High School, in which we were able to do not only provide haircuts for kids who needed it at that moment, but also to provide ties, prom suits, whatever the case may be for those specific kids as well, and whatever else that school needed from us. And this is just a brotherhood that I'm around, and that's only a small part that I've been able to touch. We're not even talking about the things that other brothers are also doing as well. So again, another prestigious organization in which I'm able to join and actually be a part of different initiatives to help the Atlanta community, or just community in general, and which will also support me and the things that I also want to see happen and implemented and impacted within my community as well.
Now, first, let me say congratulations, because that is amazing. Like the things that you've accomplished thus far in this short amount of time, and the things that you're going to accomplish, I mean, they are bound to be amazing. Now, what I want to know, being an influential Black man in the community, in these organizations, is it's kind of like it's a task, you know. When you are granted that responsibility or blessed with that responsibility, you know, it's something you have to carry proudly. Now, have you always been this person? And like, were there people in your life that like were positive impacts that helped to carry you to this stage in your life?
You know, it's very interesting. When people ever ask me what keeps me going, I always tell them it's the people who helped me get here. You know, I just had a discussion with one of my friends on the phone earlier. Excuse me. They didn't know I had a speech impediment. I couldn't speak. You know, lucky enough, my parents put me in a very good school system in which, you know, they were able to pull me out of class, and I would go to speech lessons, speaking lessons, because I couldn't pronunciate. And now look at me, I'm able to speak in front of hundreds of people for public speaking, right? So I always believe that it takes a village. I can literally sit there and give you a nice long list of the men and the women, Black, white, Hispanic, whatever the case may be, that have helped develop Johnathan into who he is today. I've taken a little bit from this community, I've taken a little bit from this, you know. I didn't have to sit there and actually experience some of the things, some of the lessons that I hold, and some of the wisdom that I hold, because I have people who already went through that. You know, we sit there and say children learn by watching. We're all children of God, right? So I'm sitting here watching my mentors. I'm sitting here watching my peers. I'm sitting here watching people who are in spaces that I want to be in. And I wouldn't say specifically mimicking, but more so portraying and really picking up some of those key attributes that will also help guide me and propel me into these spaces. But ultimately, it's being humble and listening.
That's it right there.
Right.
Listening, learning. We are never too old or too knowledgeable to not be able to learn.
Very true.
Now, when you packed up the car and said, you know,
And I packed it.
By Detroit,
I packed it.
You know, and you hit 75.
I packed it.
And that you drove down here.
I drove down here. It was me and my two friends. Me and my two boys. We drove a U-Haul, and we drove my 2021 Ford Fusion.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to call her Dark Knight. Yeah.
Where's Dark Knight now?
Dark Knight was Elise. We gave her
gave
back,
Dark
but
Knight
now we
back.
got Beetle. We got Beetle outside. I own that one.
Dark Knight
that was
and Beetle.
We got Beetle. We got that one.
Now, I mean, when you were in the car, I'm sure there were moments of silence where, you know, you're thinking like, man, I am really making this move. Like, what were you thinking about as far as the things that you wanted to leave behind and the things that you wanted to accomplish?
Leave behind. I gotta give it to my mama on this one. I love my dad. I love your dad. Because I know he's gonna see this. But I gotta give it to my mama. My mama's always told me to leave. She's always told me to go. And I tell a lot of people that I look like my dad, but I have my mom's personality.
Yeah.
You know, my mom's so vibrant. She's so well, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. And that's so me. So when it came to me graduating, when it came to me getting my offer letter from E&J Gallows, and they're like, you know, we're going to relocate you to 3 different spaces. And I'm like, okay. And then they chose Atlanta. You know, I put down DC and LA. They were like, we're going to send you to Atlanta. I took a deep breath and I was like, okay, cool. You know, I love Detroit. born and raised. I wouldn't have been raised and wouldn't want to be raised anywhere else. Anywhere else. But being here in Atlanta has been and is now my new home. And I'm glad that I was sent down here because I feel like in this space, I've really been able to blossom and really grow into who I've always pictured and wanted to be. Not saying I couldn't have done it anywhere else, but God had a purpose for me here. And I truly believe I'm walking in that. But on a car ride home, you know, I had two of my really, really good friends. And I wouldn't trade them two boys for the world. My boy Ant, my boy Juice. And they that summer 2021 was a lot, right? We had COVID, we had everything else. And I really spent a lot of time with them too specifically. And it was nothing for them to help me come down here. You know, they helped pack up everything too. And for them, it was just like dude, you're doing this not only for yourself, but for us. You know, you doing this for the family. Like, don't forget where you came from. Don't forget, like, we got you. No matter what, we got you. You know, you feel like you feel tired, you feel X, Y, and Z. You know, we got you here. And it was an easy transition. It helped move my table, at the time I had a futon, move my futon in, you know, everything else. And they stayed down here for a couple of days, but it was great to have them. And I was a little nervous. I wouldn't say I specifically had a plan, but I knew things I wanted to accomplish.
Right.
I did have things I said, this is what I need to hit. These are the things that I'm going to achieve, and these are the things I'm going to have. I didn't know what the roadmap was going to be, but I knew I was going to get there.
Now, Facebook is the way for most of us. Well, Facebook, Instagram are the way that most of us stay connected with parts of our past, because I'm from Cleveland, and the way that I stay connected with people from middle school, family, things like that is through Instagram and Facebook mainly.
Right.
There are a lot of people over the years who have reached out and just kind of, you know, said, hey, you know, the things that you're doing, you know, you're inspiring, you're encouraging. And from that, you know, they started to do different things in their own city, in their own backyard, that allowed them to, you know, feel more empowered, I would say. So for you, you've been here 3 years and a couple days. So have you started receiving those type of like messages?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Of course. Like all the time. Like, hey bro, you've helped me in my fitness journey. Hey bro, you've helped me, you know, go back to school, or you've helped me get closer to God, or, you know, I see the things that you're doing from high school or middle school. I've been knowing you then, and, you know, you're inspiring me. I get that all the time. And with that, again, it helps push me to keep going, because it always started with the people. My motivation was always from the people. It was always the people. You know, not saying I don't have self-worth and self-love for myself, but when I get up in the morning, I most definitely remember one of my friends opening up his home because I wasn't able to go home. I didn't have enough money to go home. Or, you know, having one of my mentors in college at the time help me stay at his residence, you know, during the summertime, because I didn't have money to go back home. You get what I'm saying? So there were so many people who saw something in me, who said that your purpose where you're at now, it's going to blossom in a bigger space. So I can never sit there and give up. I can't. I'll be diminishing and tarnishing the support and the time that people put into me to be where I'm at today.
And I get that. Now, like I said, carrying that weight, that on your shoulders, of not only wanting to be a success for yourself, but knowing that there are so many people out there that have been rooting for you along the way, that you also have to, you know, think of when you're doing some of the things you're doing. Like, is that hard for you? Is it easy? Like, what do you do to kind of get through that?
It was, you know what, I had developed a lot of anxiety. I think this year, January, was when I really realized I had anxiety. And we, you know, sometimes in certain spaces, I'm not just gonna just say our space, right, Black space, but in certain spaces, there's just like, you know, anxiety doesn't exist, work harder, whatever the case may be,
or pray, or
take a nap, no, I most definitely had developed anxiety, because I'm a hard worker, and I love to just tack on responsibilities. And then I just kind of looked up and I was burnt out. I was burnt out. I just couldn't move. I couldn't work. I was on autopilot. I was just going to work, train, coming back home, sleeping. Going to work, train, coming back home. I wasn't talking to people. Sometimes people, it's nothing against people. We're all humans by nature, right? Some people be like, you're not talking to me. What's going on? I see you posting a little bit, but you don't reach out. And like I said, I was in a space where I just could not talk. It was hard for me to pick up the phone.
Were you depressed?
I believe I was, just because of, when we accomplish certain things, I don't think we realize some of the responsibility that comes with that, right? And at that moment, like I said, I had crossed Alpha. I was a newly member of Emergent. I had just finished my 6 to 8 week program at a school. I had so many things going on, and I was just tacking on new things. And like I said, I just looked up and I was just like, yeah, I can't do this. I was tired. I didn't feel like moving my body out the bed. And that's when I realized I had no life outside of work. All I knew was work, because from the age of 19, my mom had cancer at that moment. And a part of me leaving school my freshman year, my first semester, was to take care of my mom. Now things happen, whatever the case may be, and I had to work 3 jobs to not only support, but to also pay back my bill, right, that I owed to the school. And sometimes I didn't have money to Uber home. Sometimes I didn't have enough money to eat, whatever the case may be. So I strategized and made sure I chose a job that I could eat at for free. I chose a job that I could sleep at, which was
intentional.
Yes. And I had a job in which was overnight, which was my security job at a bar. So I've been working and surviving, keyword surviving, since the age of 19. Wow. And I didn't learn how to live until I was almost 27. So I would say last December. Last December was when I first learned and accepted that, hey, you don't have to survive anymore. Like, you can live now. Wow. Yeah. So it took a lot. And of course, I still am in therapy. Started therapy after all these things.
Shout out to those who were brave enough to know when it was time to consult and go to therapy.
For sure.
Because we need it.
For sure. But went to therapy and, still working through things, still facing things head on, right, and addressing things. But I had no life. So some of the things I've done now, I've painted my room. I'm into interior designing now, so I do it. Not seriously. I was about to say another thing on the resume, like, for real. Not seriously. Just for myself. But I play video games. I've always been a video game guy. Yeah. I haven't played since high school, so now I got a video game now.
What's your game of choice?
Honestly, it's a video game called Helldivers. It's real cool, like shooter, RPG, online, battle royale. It's real cool. Spider-Man, whatever case. Good leisure, right? And picking up it's just so many things. And I give myself at least 1 to 2 health and wellness days out of the week in which I just spend really just to myself, or I go explore things around Atlanta. Whether it's me go visiting a coffee shop or trying food for free. New food spots, or going hiking, whatever the case may be. I just try new things. And I didn't have that, and I didn't think I deserved that. At one point in time, I didn't deserve to breathe. I didn't deserve to take this little time off because I gotta grind. I gotta go get it. I used to tell people, how can you tell me to slow down when the things that I've done to get here have worked? There's this book I'm reading right now. It's called What Got You There Won't Get You There. What got you here won't get you there. And my mentor, who's also an alpha man, introduced it to me. And it's for those who are CEOs, who are bosses, who are leaders that are looking to critique themselves so they can be more successful. And it's usually just those small things. And my small thing was I work too much. How can I increase my productivity and health and wellness space, right? Without taking a step back and reducing my productivity in all the spaces I'm in. take 1 or 2 days off.
Or without overwhelming yourself and being
yourself.
back in that space where, I've been in that space before where there was just so much pressure to do so many different things. Because at one point for me, I was with the magazine. There was a radio show. I was doing brand development. I was doing PR. I was going to work 9 to 5.
You was doing a lot.
So I had to make sure these people were in their apartments. I had to make sure these clients were good. I had to make sure these guests were booked. Like, there was so much that was going on. And I remember having a conversation with my friend one day. Shout out to another alpha man. Shout out Eric, the quintessential gentleman. There was just so much going on. And it's just like, you know what? I don't have the energy to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do it, but I had to rediscover my why. Some things had to be taken off of the plate. Yeah. And as much as, like, I enjoyed whatever it was, I had to realize, like, at the end of the day, if there's no me here to function, like, none of that other stuff really matters.
It does not.
So those health and wellness days, guys, take them. Even those of you who have a 9 to 5 and, that's what you focus on. You got sick days. Some of us are fortunate enough to where we do not get sick. So those sick days are just accumulating and they're just sitting there. Mental health, that is something that you can use as a reason to take a sick day. You don't have to call in and I'm not feeling good. Hey, my mental health is important and I'm not coming to work today.
Yeah.
Do that. And
just
I appreciate it. No, it really is. And I didn't realize it was that simple until a director of mine at work, we were having like a meeting and he said that very thing. I know everybody doesn't always get sick, but you have these days and this job can get overwhelming, but we need you at your best and you need to be at your best for yourself. So if you need to take a sick day just because you just don't feel like coming in, do it. And once he told me that,
I got a little sick.
Yeah, I got real sick for a little bit, but I kind of reeled it back in. But taking that time for you is very important.
I agree. And
it seems like in these 27 years of life, you've learned some very valuable lessons that you've learned for yourself, but lessons that, even in this conversation that you're able to share with other people. And hopefully, you guys will take that and apply that to your life in the different areas, that you need. But you've also accomplished so many things. And to be as, young as you are, how does that feel to, be as accomplished as you are in this moment in time in your life?
I feel like I have so much more to do.
See, hold on.
I'm for
so,
real.
Hold on. No,
an honest answer.
No, yeah.
I feel like I have more to do.
That is very much so an honest answer. But let me say this, because this is the issue that overachievers or achievers, this is the issue that we have. We are so focused on what we're going to accomplish tomorrow that we don't sit in what we've accomplished today.
Very true. Like
today, okay, I did it. It's done. It doesn't matter anymore. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to do tomorrow. When do we take the time to appreciate what we've accomplished today? Because I'm 17 years in the game. And it's stuff from 15 years ago. And I'm like, damn, I still didn't reflect on, that moment. So for you, yes, you have more that you want to accomplish. But the things that you have accomplished, how do you feel about those?
I have some very coming to life moments, coming to Jesus. I have coming to life moments like, wow, I'm here. Like, wow, like, look at that. And then I have a called a Little John moment where I'll go to the mirror and talk to Little John.
Oh my God. That was actually going to be a conversation. That's what I wanted you to do a little bit.
I have a Little John moment. And my therapist used to do it. He used to have me sit in the mirror. And I didn't and that goes into the self-worth journey. I didn't realize how uncomfortable I was talking to myself.
Oh yeah.
At one point in time. So, now I'm in the mirror, I'm like, Little John, I'm proud of you. Like I'm really proud of you. And I just speak to him. Like, you know, you remember what happened in 4th grade, or you remember this, or you remember that. Like, look at where we at, man. Good job. I knew you was gonna figure it out. I knew you was, because you believed it and I believed it, and I got you. So, you know, whenever there's any moments I gotta do something or I just finish something, I take a little break or whatever the case may be. When I get home, I look at myself and say, I'm proud of you. Like, good job. Like, really good job.
That is deep. And I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know you said sometimes it's hard to like literally face yourself. Around, was it 2012? I believe 2011, 2012. Only a few people know this. I was going through a lot in life. I had relationship stuff, jobs. Like, I was just in a very big transition in every aspect of my life. And honestly, I look back and I didn't like a lot of the things that I was experiencing. So, like, when I would even go to the bathroom, you know, to brush my teeth, one thing I never did for an entire year almost, I never looked in the mirror at myself.
Wow.
Like, I'll look at everything, but I will never allow my eyes to lock eyes with the eyes in the mirror. I never wanted, and thank God we're over that now, but, you know, that was a very tough thing to do. But, you know, when you're able to overcome, you know, those different things and appreciate and respect, you know, yourself, then you gain a new appreciation for who you are and your struggle or your journey and your story and stuff like that. And you're able to get on platforms or speak in front of hundreds of people like you have and talk about these different things in life. Like, so, okay, what's next for you? With everything that you've done, I know we're focusing on, you know, the next.
Yeah.
What do you feel is next for you?
So, my next big thing is grad school. So
I was gonna throw the little drum roll in.
It's okay. Grad school. So I was recently accepted into Morehouse School of Medicine, Master's of Public Health program, and I never thought that I would be in grad school ever. I thought you had to be a super genius. You know, I thought you had to have a lot of money, whatever the case may be. But you know, walking in purpose, God said, it's time. And this came about from, it was a day I was just training. I think it happened about January, December. This was around the time I was going through some rough patches and things like that. And I said, I am so much more than a trainer. You know, like, I'm so much more than a trainer. I think somebody was like, oh yeah, this is Spidey, he's the trainer. Spidey, this is a trainer. I do a lot more.
No, I'm Johnathan.
Yeah, like, I'm Johnathan. Like, I'm a community. Like, I do a lot. I said, okay. And, you know, it was so many factors that were pulling me. And I was like, you know what? I need to change. Like, I am a health and wellness enthusiast. I'm a health and wellness expert.
Not a trainer.
I am not just a trainer. Like, please do not address that as insulting. So, there was one day I was invited to speak upon the relationship of the foods that we eat on Sundays, on Good Sundays and Thanksgiving, how it's related to slavery time. I gave a lecture at a post-secondary college, Metropolitan State College, to a collegiate audience. And it was a great presentation. We had a physical fitness activity afterwards. But at that moment, I knew I needed more. This was February 1st, first day of Black History Month. I needed more. I needed more intellectual growth. I needed letters next to my name. I needed more. And at that moment, with me connecting, you know, again to another big bro who's an alpha man. He just won Alumni Leadership Award of the Year at Morehouse School of Medicine. He helped me get to where I'm at, and you know, ultimately guide me through. And now, with me being accepted to this next class of Morehouse School of Medicine, I most definitely will use the things that I will learn in this program to uplift my community and to apply them within the organizations in my own company. You know, in that near future. So there's so many things that I'm ready for, but that right there is what I'm planning for. That happens August 12th. So I'm happy about that.
Celebration time. We got a celebration on August 11th.
It's coming.
Yes, we got to get you a book bag.
Yeah, got me a book bag.
I think I got some notebook paper.
I need it all.
I need it all. I need a little
iPad. I need it all. But
I might not be able to get the iPad. We're gonna talk to some of your Alpha brothers who
got a little.
Might be.
You got a little gold right there. Got a little jewelry. See the
see what happened
earrings, was like that ain't no fake chain.
So yes, thank you. We'll talk about that later. Now for Little John.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Little Johns of the world who don't necessarily know where their life is going to go, don't know the journey that they're about to experience in life, but they know that their purpose is bigger than where they are at the moment, what would you say to them?
Believe in yourself. And I know that's very, to some, I know that's very cliche, but you have to believe in yourself. When nobody else may not see the vision, you have to. And you have to be honest with yourself about the vision. You have to be honest about what you can and cannot do. You have to be honest and see where you want to be and where you can be and where you will be. You know, sometimes it's one of my favorite things to hear and also say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him what you're going to do. Yes. I love that because God, I did not see this coming. I did not see myself being in Atlanta. I did not see myself being part of the community I'm a part of, Emerging Alpha. I did not see grad school. I did not see myself being part of the Morehouse family. Mm-hmm. I did not see that coming, right? But I believed in myself. I believe that I'm supposed to be in these rooms and I will be in these rooms, you know. Manifestation, I mean, you can call it anything. You have to believe in yourself. And there were individuals who doubted. There were individuals who were like, why did you quit your corporate job? I mean, my salary was $80,000. Coming straight out of college, I think anybody would have kept that job.
Yeah.
But I quit on a Monday at 4 a.m. I woke up straight out of sleep and said, you know, I quit.
Like a couple days ago?
No. I'm talking about when I quit my job.
Oh.
When I quit my job, I woke up at 4 a.m. This is my corporate job before I went to training. Woke up at 4 a.m. I said, today's my last day I'm quitting. I went into work that day at 8 a.m. My area director was giving me, you know, the plan or whatever. I said, hey, today's my last day.
Not even a 2-week notice.
I said, today's my... When God says move, you move. You move. You have to... And it's not like, do I need a confirmation? No. You move. I've been in situations like that where you gotta move. You gotta go. And that's what I did. I went to Affect Fitness that same day. I had an interview with the owners. They asked me a question. It was like, why should we take you? Like, what makes you different than trainers we got here? I said, well, so I'm gonna be real with you. I just quit my job about 10 minutes ago. That's all I got. I said, I have nothing else. They looked at each other. They said, can you be here at 4 a.m.? I said, I get up every day at 4. I'll be here. I got up 3. It was there. You know. So, you have to believe in yourself. You have to. It wasn't an easy journey. I used to eat food out of Publix and Kroger's because when I first started off, I only had one client that paid me $250. My parents were helping me back at home. I used to do little side jobs until I got a job at a front desk at Vibe Ride and really start getting my clients up. I used to sit in Publix. I used to sit in Kroger's and eat the food because I wasn't able to actually buy it and purchase and walk out with it. I did that for about 3, 4, 5 months. Until I had enough to where, because I only had enough money to pay my bills, but I had no food.
Yeah.
So I couldn't take it home. I would go there 2-3 times in a day, eat, go work out, whatever the case may be. I had a nice little system.
I'm not gonna lie, as expensive as things are right now, I might have to start doing that myself. Not for real. However,
I would not recommend nobody doing that. Again, not recommending nobody doing that. But that was the journey I was on.
That's your truth,
and that's my truth.
Yes,
that's where I was. So.
And I appreciate you for even sharing that. You know, most people don't feel the need to be vulnerable, but that very thing that you just said, you know, could have helped somebody else, or hopefully it did. And hopefully, guys, this entire conversation has helped to motivate you, encourage you, and to show you what is possible if you just believe in yourself. There you go.
I think it's important when we hear stories about, or we hear from people who are successful or have really walked in their purpose and created something out of it. We have to hear. We don't need to hear the highlights all the time, because it diminishes the story. You know, it's just like, it sounds like everything was just aligned for you, and I'll be lying. I would be lying right now if I say everything aligned. I'd be lying right now if I say everything came easy to me in these 3 years. It did not. I worked extremely hard. I think now I'm catching up on sleep. I think now I've caught up. I'm almost there. But I worked hard. I worked extremely hard to be right here. Like, hard. I've cried myself to sleep sometimes. I'm like, I'm tired of the situation. But why would I sit there and sulk to stay there when I know I'm passing through a storm? I'm passing through this storm. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't trying to preach, but I'm passing through this storm. So I think it's important when we're speaking about authenticity, we're speaking about vulnerability in whatever spaces that we're in, that we don't just talk about the highlights, because it's not always about the highlights. It's about those things that you had to do, or you were forced to do, or whatever the case may be, to get to where you needed to be, or get to where you needed to go, to set up for yourself. Wow. So it's important. It's very important.
The sacrifices are what makes the journey of success so much sweeter, because when you get to that place where you're happy, where you're fulfilled, is those moments that help create the person, you know, that you would end up looking in the mirror at. So once again, I thank you so much for being on here today, sharing this story. Like, I'm inspired and encouraged. Like, I'm gonna go back and listen to this, and I might jot down a few notes. But I want you to let people know where they can find you. So share your social media.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Spidey. So AYESPIDEY. Again, AYESPIDEY. That's really the main thing I use. You know, for communication, training, whatever the case may be. Find me on Instagram there, or on LinkedIn for any professional connections at Johnathan Carey, JOHNATHANCAREY. So those are the main two platforms you can really find me at.
Or his professional Instagram coming soon, called Johnathan.
That's actually, I actually need to do that.
Yeah.
I like that. I actually do that.
So yes, thank you guys again for tuning in to BLK Talk. Thank you, Mr. Johnathan Carey, aka Spidey, for joining us today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys share this with somebody, and be on the lookout for another amazing conversation coming to you guys soon.